Hey guys, welcome. This is Team Tenacity's weekly call. I'm so excited. We've got a guest speaker. We have a bunch of guest friends joining us to hear her talk. So I'm going to let her get right to it. But just say really quickly that ALYSSA here has just graciously decided to come on the call. And she to me is not like 100% not the same girl that she was 2 years ago when we first met. Has it been 2 years? I think it's been 2 years. Yeah. And a lot has happened to both of us. We both kind of lost our coaches along the way. And so our businesses have changed quite a bit. But what I've noticed with ALYSSA is that she just like pushes through and doesn't let those setbacks determine who she is and what she wants from life and from this business. And she's pushed past those things and advanced rank to 2-star diamond, even though like there's always that diamond plateau that we all face, and she like blazed past that. And she has all the drive and passion to just keep crushing her goals. And so I really feel that especially lately she's discovered who she is as a new mom and as a coach, and just how to share that like unabashedly in this business, and how to push past her fears and truly just grow into her highest self. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I am going to pass it on, and I'll start muting everybody for you.
I am so freaking excited for this right now. You don't even know. So just like a side note, you guys, I don't know if you saw her post, Jody's post in Inspiration. I had put on my vision, I had updated my vision board like 2 days ago, and right before like a different training call, and I put on there, I was like, I should really like get specific. So I put it on there and I was like, I want to speak on somebody else's team call, because I love pouring into coaches who actually want to listen and who want to take their businesses to the next level. And it's taken me a long time to own where I am and be proud and confident of where I am. And so it so fires me up to like see all of you guys here. And I know some of you, I don't know some of you, but it doesn't even matter, because you're all like here for a reason. So I put it on my vision board, be a guest speaker on a team call. No joke, like 2 hours later, Jody messages me and she was like, hey, if you got like 15 minutes tomorrow, would you mind speaking? I'm like, dude, like this is no coincidence. That is so freaking cool. So thanks, Jody. Okay, so I have definitely had, like, I've been coaching for 2 years. Jody and I were on the same team before, and then we kind of like rolled up with each other. But when I first started coaching, you guys, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Like most of us when we started, like I didn't know what the first step was. I just followed what my coach told me to do, and she was new too, so we were kind of learning together. But it kind of got to a point where I was just like, all right, like I am obsessed with personal development. Like my life is changing, like my mindset is changing. I'm not stopping. And then I got about 6 months in, and I was like, I'm obsessed with PD. Like I want to be a life coach. And I like totally stopped working my Beachbody business, lost all momentum that I had, because I wasn't treating it like a business. I was kind of like dabbling in it. Totally stopped working it, because I was like, I need to figure this out. I have to figure it out before I take another step. Like that self-limiting belief, like you have to have everything figured out before you do anything. Yeah, that killed me. And then it got to a point where I was like, you know what? That's what this company is about. Like that's what this mission is. Like growing yourself, helping other people grow, staying healthy. I'm not going to stop drinking Shakeology. I'm not going to stop doing the workouts. Like I love this stuff. It just makes sense for me to keep coaching. And so then 9 months after I started coaching, I hit Diamond, which is like crazy long, but it took me 9 months because I wasn't confident in myself as a coach. Like I wasn't confident that I could lead somebody else and like in the business, because I was still figuring it out. And I think that holds a lot of us back. Like we don't know enough to help other people. But every experience that we go through is a notch under our belt. Like every experience that we go through is more experience than a brand new coach has or somebody that's thinking about coaching has. So I feel like we don't give ourselves enough credit sometimes when we're like, who am I to lead somebody through this? I barely know what I'm doing. You know a heck of a lot more than somebody who has no idea what this thing is even about. So just starting there is a great way to like boost your confidence. But after, you know, there was like a change in leadership, and then I ended up rolling up under Micah, and I really got to see like how a 15-star diamond functions and how real she is. And I was just like, she is like no different than any one of us. Like we're all learning together. Social media is constantly changing. There is like this pedestal that top coaches get put on. And especially when you're like, you know, in the downline, it can be hard to feel connected to like whoever is leading your organization. But I want you guys to think of like how fundamental this business is and how easy it is. We are all doing the same things. If we're working this business, we're all doing the same things, or we're not, you know? So it's not, I just had this like mentality of, well, obviously they're doing something that I'm not. So what I'm doing just isn't working. But I just wasn't doing my stuff. Like I just wasn't doing my crap. So that's why my business wasn't growing. And then I had my son, he just turned a year old, and I think something about becoming a mom just made me realize like I don't give a crap of what people think, and you just have to let some stuff go. Like life is messy, life is not going to be perfect. This like the last year of my business was like so I was growing, but I was so stressed because with like schedules and a brand new baby, I felt like I was still trying to find my footing, and it was tough, but I had so much mental growth. It's not even funny. And so now I'm sitting here and I'm just like, it feels like a brand new chapter. Like 2018 was like, all right, this is a new start. And so with every month that goes, if you guys have a crappy month, take the next month, take the next week, take the next day, and just be like, all right, say to yourself, like when I'm on that national wake-up call with Jeff Hill and he says, what was the turning point in your business? You're going to say this date right here, okay? Maybe not this date specifically. Maybe that'd be cool. But pick a date, pick some starting point and just say, okay, this is when things change. And just draw the line in the sand. Because if you're just like, you know, half in, half out, like you're not going to get to where you want to go. So before I go over like some of the fears that I had when I first started and how I got over them, I want to have you guys think about like, this is such a powerful thing for me to do. Like, what does it feel like? I want you to feel and think about what it feels like when you're in the flow. Like when you're in flow, when you are on top of your game, you just had the best day ever. You had some amazing conversations. Like, what do you feel? Are you confident? Are you like indestructible? Are you like, bring on the objections? Like, doesn't even faze me. Are you like so proud of what you have and what you've done that nothing can bring you down? Like that feeling of like ecstasy, like that is the goal for coaching in my eyes. Like that is what you want to be tapped into all the time, especially before you're like doing your power hour or whatever. Like if you go into something and you're just like, oh, this is so hard, this sucks, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But if you go in when you're like feeling good, maybe you've had your energize, you've like got your jams going, and you're like, dude, bring it on, like I got this. Then you bust out your invites and suddenly you have conversations going, or maybe you don't, but you're like viewing them differently. It totally changes everything. So like think about and feel how you feel when you're in the flow, because if you know what it feels like, then you'll know when you're there and you'll be able to like work backwards and get back to there when you need to. So when I first started coaching, one of my, like, oh my gosh, so many fears that I feel like we all have. Like, I am so not unique with these fears. What will people think? Will it look like I'm trying too hard because you're trying to, figure out your identity as, okay, I just went from sharing just my life, or maybe not really sharing on social media at all, to all of a sudden I'm a coach. Oh my God, are people going to think I'm just trying to sell them something? How do I like bridge this gap between who I am and who I want to be? Like, I want this life over here, but I feel like I'm stuck here, and like it just feels so like there's like quicksand in between, and I don't know how to get past it. And then how do I even handle like growing this business? Like, when you feel like you're tripping over your feet already, it's overwhelming and so like self-sabotage inducing to get tripped up over, like, all right, well, I'm barely surviving now, so how would I even handle my team growing, or having like business builders or whatever? Like, how, like, I don't even know, I can't even keep my head on straight now. And that's kind of how I felt like with, like, when Bailey was new in his first year of life. My husband was in school, so I was literally like a single parent. It was insane. But when you have the basics down, oh, here we go. When you have the basics down and you've got like, you know what that feeling is that you're reaching for, then like nothing else matters. Just like focus on the feeling that you're trying to get after and like make that your goal. So I'll try to keep this quick-ish. I tried to like break it down to 4 of the main things in the last like few weeks, really, that I have adopted to really shift my mindset. The thing with this business is the more you grow, like if you want to succeed in this business, if you want to go far and you want to move from point A, like your life right now, that to that like vision board, like living out my dreams life, change is not optional. It is no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, you have to be willing to go all in, feel your fears, and do it the F anyways. Like, there is no room for, like, I am just so scared, so I like can't even take action. You have to grow through that. Like, we grow through what we go through. So when we hit walls, that's not to say like you can't feel frustrated or you can't feel defeated. You should never deny those feelings. And when you do, and you're like, oh, I suck at this, like I'm feeling frustrated, I suck. That's part of the process. But the difference is if you keep going or not. And if you develop that grit and that resiliency to say, all right, well, this is a rejection, this is part of the process. When I see a coach cancellation email, I still get that pit in my stomach of like, ugh, I don't even want to open it. Like, who is it? But it's because of that unknown. It's because of that uncertainty that freaks us out. Like, nobody likes to see a coach cancellation email. Obviously, all of us want to be like that person that like hoards all these builders that like take off, but that's just not the case. Like, imagine how many cancellation emails Melanie Mitchell gets, top coach in the network. Like, does it stop her? No, she keeps going because she knows that there's more people that need her help. So when you want to go far in this business, you have to make change non-negotiable, growth non-negotiable. And there's different ways to go about that, but the more you grow, the second part is, so that was the first one, growth is not optional. The second one is the more you grow, the smaller the gap becomes between your life now and the life that you dream of. And I want you to think about that like on a sliding scale. So where you are now versus the life that you want over here, okay? You can't like, in my mind, I'm such a visual person. So when I think about the way that I've been growing over the last 2 years, I've felt like I've been kind of inching forward over this like valley of like taking that leap and really growing and developing. But I've been like trying to like touch that dream life with like a 10-foot pole because I'm too afraid to jump. Like, you have to take the risks, show up even when, like, make a post that rocks the boat, you guys. That was something that I was so afraid of. Like, I was that person growing up that everybody's like, don't change. Like, you, I hope my kids are like you. Like, you're so good. You're so awesome. You're so nice. Straight A student. I was like, oh my God, like, I can't do anything different because everybody loves me the way I am. So then when I felt like I wanted to try something new, when I wanted to color my hair, when I wanted to get a tattoo or whatever, say something that was maybe like a little bold for my typical self, I was terrified because I was like, if I post this, if I do this, people are not going to like me. Like, they're not going to want to be around me anymore. But then I kept feeling this like identity like clash, because the more I grew, the more I developed and my mindset changed, and I still acted like that. I was like, dude, I just want to explode right now with like how much I'm keeping in and how like excited I feel about life and where I'm going and how proud I am. But I don't share any of it because I don't want to come off like I'm bragging, or I don't want to tell it, you know, make other people feel bad or uncomfortable because I have like completely changed my life by choice. We all have a freaking choice. And that is like the kicker with all of this. You guys are here because you chose to be here. You're a coach because you chose to be here, because you chose to change your life, because you wanted something more than what you had. And when we don't share about that, when we don't share about our growth, like, and how excited it makes us, like, to our core, and be proud of that, the way other people perceive it is that coaching is like not that cool of a thing. I mean, on a very like surface level thing, like they just see it as just another thing to do, or, you know, selling something. But when you are like radiating with how much your life has changed, even if you just started coaching, I guarantee you that your life has changed in some way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, you know, Ashley just signed up a little over a month ago. Would you still be here if your life hasn't changed in some way, shape, or form? Like, we don't give our growth like the credit where credit is due, I think, sometimes. So we think, well, I can't be like super confident and I can't be like super proud and share exactly what I'm doing because other people are going to feel bad. But that's their choice to like be inspired by you or get frustrated because they don't want to change. And that has been one of the biggest mindset shifts for me. I was reading this book, Essentialism. If you guys haven't read it yet, so good. And it's really kind of like an extremist kind of like mindset. Like, cut out all the BS, cut out the fluff, just focus on the crap that matters to you. Don't say yes to engagements if they're not important to you. Don't give your time and your energy and your money to things that don't fulfill you. Like, it's okay to say no, and some people might not understand that. So when you're growing and you're feeling excited and you're feeling amazing, share that, because that's what people want to see. They want something that's going to change their life. Like, think about why you joined this, like what your life before Beachbody, and then how you evolved into clicking become a coach. Like, what brought you to this, you know? And so when I had posted something about like high performers making sure that they get enough sleep, and that's something with 80-day obsession. I have been super intentional about getting as close to 8 hours as possible. Is it always possible with Bailey? No. But when I do get 8 hours of sleep, I feel so much better. But there was a part of me that was like, don't talk about that. Like, there's so many moms that like don't get to sleep through the night. You're going to upset them. It's just like the silliest things. But when you say, this is what I'm doing, you have every right to share what you're doing that's working for you, because people need to see that. So the more you grow, the smaller that gap becomes. Like, the closer you get to that, to like that dream life. But along the way, you have to be okay with people not accepting that, or they won't be they won't approve of your growth because it just reminds them that they aren't growing, you know? When you get those negative comments or those messages that bring you down, just flip your mindset. Instead, see it as something good. Like, see it as, okay, this means I'm on the right path. Like, this means that I am getting one step closer to the life that I want to be living. And I can either own that or I can let them bring me down. But I'm in control of how I let other people feel. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And the quality of the people that you attract will increase the more you grow too. Okay, so the third one is one of my favorites, because I've actually been doing this the last few days, is declutter your freaking house. And I mean this literally and figuratively, okay? So I don't know about you guys. I need to, well, let me tell my team I might be a few minutes. When I walked through my house the last week, hold on. Sorry, guys. When I walked through my house the last week, I was like just so stressed out and so overwhelmed because I am so not good. Like, I'm so disorganized. It's not even funny. Like, I will see something and I'm like, oh, I'll put it away later. Or I don't, like, I'm too tired to do the dishes. I'll just do them later. Like, got to get my 8 hours of sleep. I'll just, do that stuff in the morning. And so it was like this constant, like, give and take. And then eventually it was more like the laundry, like, wasn't getting done. The dishes weren't really getting done. It's just like everything piles up. It's that compound effect, but in such a frustrating way. And my house was just a mess. And so on Monday, I was like, you know what? Like, I think I was on a call with Josh Coates. And we were talking about personal development versus affirmations. And if you're only doing personal development, when you get that high from PD, when you're just like, oh my God, so good, like I'm on fire right now, that's awesome. But if you're just like, just personal development alone is like dusting and reorganizing the crap in your house. Like, you have to declutter the crap, get rid of the crap that doesn't serve you, and then implement your cleaning routine. Like, if you're just moving shit around and like folding the dirty sheets and moving stuff around, like, you're still going to feel frustrated because the stuff is still in your environment, Every time you walk through your house, or every time I walked through my house, it was like my eyes were just getting pulled in so many directions of like, oh my God, I have to do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. It's like, it's exhausting. So when you take the time to, it's just like the same thing with your negative self-talk. Like, affirmations are the decluttering for refocusing and rewiring the thoughts that you're freaking telling yourself. Like, you cannot be telling yourself, I suck, this business is hard, I'm not good at recruiting, like I failed, whatever, and then go and do 3 hours of personal development. Like, that's not, you're not fixing and solving like the root problem there. And I feel like for me, I was doing all this PD, but then my root problem was that I was afraid to change. I was afraid to grow because I didn't want people to see me differently. I was afraid to freaking color my hair because my mom told me growing up, your hair is perfect the way it is. People pay to have their hair your color. And I was like, like I can't go back after that. Like, I have to keep it the way it is. But in my head, I'm just like, oh my God, like I want to be this person. I want to be that person over there. But I can't, because I was just so, like, my mind was just like so keeping me back. So when I implemented my affirmations just this week alone, it's just like you rewire your thoughts and you pair it with personal development and you will be freaking unstoppable. And I want to share some of my affirmations. I can share the PDF with you guys too, but one of the very first one was, I am growing, changing, and reinventing myself for me, nobody else. The people that matter most will always love and support me. When I hold myself back from growing because of other people, I'm stifling my true potential. And the life that I want depends on me changing. Like, it depends on me growing, developing, not just focusing on what I'm good at, but developing the stuff that I'm not so good at. And that's the hard stuff. Like, you cannot just breeze through in this business on what comes natural to you. And that's why I say declutter your house. I mean, for me, I'm not a type A, like, clean freak by any means. Dog comes in with muddy paws. Yeah, it's annoying, but am I going to vacuum right away? Probably not. Are other people cringing when they hear that? Probably. And it just took me a while to be like, oh my God, like, I'm such a gross person. Like, I can live in this filth. When to me, I'm just like, this is what this is what I grew up in. Like, I grew up with, like, animals everywhere. It doesn't bother me. But to other people, like, they vacuum every week and they change their sheets like 3 times a week. And I'm just like, I guess I'll change my sheets this Tuesday. Like, it just doesn't even faze me. So it doesn't come naturally to me to keep my house clean. But that's something that I am focusing on, because if I want to change, I have the power to change it. That's the same thing that we do with our mindset. Like, if we tell ourselves something, if we just keep saying what we're saying because we've always said it, you have to bring your attention and your energy to what you want to change. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. So when you are like, oh, actually, let me find my one about cleaning the house, because it's helping me so much. And it's just so good with, like, life in general. I focus on the essentials in my life, and I'm always creating an atmosphere I am proud of. Because I am proud of what I'm creating, I take time to organize and keep it neat so I can protect my energy from the stress of being disorganized. Everything in my house has a purpose. If it doesn't, I let it go. Everything in your freaking brain has to have a purpose, you guys. If it doesn't serve you, let it go. If you're just sitting there saying, like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to send this invite, bring attention to your thought of why you're afraid, and then be like, okay, well, why am I afraid? I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of how I'm being seen. Okay, well, how do I combat that? Well, is what I have life-changing? Has my life changed? Am I confident that this can change their life too, based on what they've told me? If the answer is yes, then stop making it about you and freaking give them that gift. Let them decide if it's for them or not. And stop freaking letting the fear of rejection get in your way. Like, we're going to get judged no matter what we do. So it might as well be doing something that can help other people, that can bring our lives joy and fulfillment and move us to where we want to go. But if we're constantly holding ourselves back, then it's just going to feel like we're spinning our wheels. And the life that we want is going to be, like, so close yet so far. But when you, like, get into your mind and declutter your brain, then you make room for the energy that you need to get there, and you can develop and become who you need to be to achieve those goals. I guarantee, myself included, everybody on this call right now is not the same person that they will be when they achieve their income, their rank, their whatever goals. You have to develop your skills and develop who you are as a person and challenge yourself. And it's not going to happen overnight, but little by little, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's not so scary anymore. Then you're going to have that confidence to do it again. And that compounds. And then the last one, super fast, is own your space and your experiences. When I first started, I was like, there is nothing unique about me, nothing unique about my experiences. There are so many moms on this planet. How am I going to set myself apart as a mom, health coach, whatever? And I remember telling my husband that, and he was just like, okay, every experience that you had, like, I would try to blanket statement every post that I had to try to relate to everybody, because I want to help everybody. But I was, like, not talking to anybody, because I thought if I was just general enough, I would get enough people to relate to it. But it's when you own your space on this freaking planet, like own your space in this life and say, this is where I come from. These are my past experiences. This is how I grew from them. These were my struggles. You guys, none of us have the exact same life, but somehow we all connect, like somehow we all can relate on some level. So when we stop thinking like there is nobody out there that can relate to exactly what I'm going through, we hold ourselves back from sharing so much value with people because we're like, who am I to share this? You know, if I share something about how sleep makes me feel better, I'm like, who am I to share that? I'm just a mom that's like, you know, that's lucky because her son sleeps through the night. Meanwhile, my friend has a 2-year-old who still barely sleeps. He wakes up every 2 to 3 hours. Like, I would have stopped myself from sharing about that sleep post because I didn't want to offend anybody. Like, I didn't want to make people feel bad that I was getting 8 hours of sleep. But it's more of, this is what's working for me. This is my life. This is my past experiences. They have helped me grow in so many ways. And when somebody is reading that, they're not thinking about, wow, she's sharing her story again. Wow. They're relating it to their life. Like, they are reading it, and immediately, next time you go to somebody's Instagram or read somebody's post, think about how, like, make yourself aware of how you instantly flip it on yourself. We love to talk about ourselves. Like, we love to focus on us, and it works both ways. Like, it can work for us or against us. So when you're talking to somebody, ask them questions, get them talking about themselves. Then they're going to be like, wow, this person's actually interested in me. People don't want to feel like they're sold to. They want to be interested in. So when you hold yourself back from sharing, you're taking that opportunity away from people to even relate to you. Own your space, own your experiences, and say, this is what I went through. This is how I share it, and let them do with it what they will. And part of one of my affirmations for that is, my past is part of my story. By owning my story, I take ownership over everything I've learned in my life so far. So it is my responsibility to share my story with the world and use my experiences for good. And yeah, so that, I have another affirmation. I can just share the PDF with you guys. But there's just, like, everybody has what it takes to make this work. And if you feel like you don't, you just need to, like, dig deeper and figure out what your fears are and, like, make it a non-negotiable to grow through them. Because everything you want is on the other side of that growth. The life that you want depends on you working through that. So don't let that stop, because then you've got, like, so much life ahead of you that you just put to a halt because you were too afraid. Nobody wants to look back and be like, if I only pushed through, like, my life could be so different. Like, let's be proactive and go after what we want and make it happen. And I think that's all I got, Jodester.
Yay! I loved it. Thank you. I took, like, I don't know if you can see it, took a ton of notes. So you answered, I, like, would write down questions and then you'd answer it. Like, you can read my mind. But my favorite thing that you said was, go all in, feel your fears, and do it the F anyway. So that needs to be your little slogan that you in your next post. Because, you know, we all had a reason and a pull to why we joined this business, whether it was to be a hobby coach or to go all in and, you know, change our family's income potential. Like, whatever that reason is, we all had a why and a pull that made us want to do it. And because of where we all come from in our lives, we're all going to have fears that are going to hold us back from reaching our full potential, whatever our goal is. And so, yeah, I love that you said that we need to just feel the fears and press play or press post and have that 5 seconds of courage. But one question that I did have was when, you were sharing, like, I love the whole part about decluttering your house, and, having your affirmations go hand in hand with your personal development. And what you had made a comment about, like, letting stuff go at the beginning. And when you're pairing up your affirmations with your personal development, can you think of what PD helped you to do that so that these girls can pair it with the affirmations?
Oh my gosh, so much. So I think for me, like at this point and where I am in my business right now and just my mindset, like I have always been that person that's like, don't be like too proud of what you're doing. Like, don't be too ambitious because then you're going to set yourself apart. But it's when you like, so essentialism has been a huge one because I was like, holy crap, I identify with like so many points in this. Like,
Yeah,
that's
that
gotta
one was
mean
an
something.
eye-opening one for sure.
Yeah. No limits was a huge one.
Okay, I remember that one.
And just the gifts of imperfection was such a good one for just like everybody, like nobody is perfect. And like failure, finish. Dude, I could like rattle off so many. Finish was another good one. There was, if you are okay with like profanity, there's one called Un-F Yourself. Oh my gosh, so good. One of the points from that was he's like any action you take, you're winning. So when we feel like a failure, it's because we're not winning in the right direction. We are winning. If I say that my house is always messy, it's because, and then I don't put the dishes away, I'm winning in the direction of affirming what I'm telling myself. So that's a success. Mm-hmm. It's just not the success that I want. And so I have this note on my desk that says, he says, I am hardwired to win. Like we are hardwired to win, but it's just a matter of if we're winning in the right direction that we want to be headed in. So if you're like not doing your work or you are skipping your workouts, but you're like, oh, I want to be like in shape, then you're winning at like not being in shape, but just change your course, do your workouts, and you're winning in the right direction. Like we're winning at everything we do. We just have to like check ourselves and figure out what we want. That's why having clarity and a vision is so important, because if you don't know what you want, you're going to feel conflicted if all of a sudden you find yourself in a direction that's totally opposite of what what your goals are. Sorry, that was long.
But very important. Winning. There's just like so much to implement. So I really appreciate you taking the time out and making your team.
Thank you so much.
Great, guys. Does anyone else have a question before I let her go to her team? Lisa asked what your favorite video is. Yeah, so just like...
Yeah, I'll share a list of PDF. Yeah. I love PDF of affirmations with you.
Yay, perfect. I think that's it. Yay, you're the best. I love you. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you, girls, for all hopping on and getting on here. And I'm just going to take like a quick screenshot before I let you go. So I'm going to change it to grid view. And I'm going to close the chat. All right. Are you guys ready? Those of you, Megan, not showing your face. Good. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll send it to you guys too. All right. Well, thank you, lovely ladies. And we will see you all in the groups, okay? Bye.